Shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honor to the elders at Great Millstone. Peace, salutations to the occupants pushing his word throughout the four corners of the planet. Shalom to the elect. Alright. And real quick. Let me get this. Alright. Salaki. Let me get this real quick. This is Jeremiah. Shit. Salaki. This is Jeremiah 51 and 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. The Lord had brought forth our righteousness. Salakia. Yeah, that's it on that. Alright. Let me read that again. Jeremiah 51 and 9. We will have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Yeah. And thus America. Alright, this place is finished. It's through. Alright. This place can't be healed. Alright, it's nothing that these devils can do to turn back what ultimately is the inevitable. Alright, and I got this clip queued up and it's gonna go into it. Alright, let me see. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at Jeremiah 51 and 8, Salakia. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her take balm for her pain, and so she may be healed. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country, for her judgment reaches unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Alright? Salakia for that. But yeah, this place is pretty much through. Alright, the Lord Salakia. The Lord is bringing judgment on this place. Alright, let me get some water. Yeah, so the Lord is bringing judgment on this place. All right, and there's nothing that these devils can do to what they call make America great again. All right, bring pretty much bring back America to its glory days. All right, those days are over, long gone. Okay, long gone, and it's never coming back. Salakia. So I got this video queued up, and it's just going to go in to the downfall of America and its untimely demise. All right, let's get it.
Seems like relentless inflation and raises interest rates by 0.75 percentage point, its biggest hike in nearly With prices surging and Americans struggling to keep up, the Federal Reserve takes a bold step to tame what seems like relentless inflation and raises interest rates by 0.75 percentage point, its biggest hike in nearly 3 decades.
We at the Fed.
So this would be a form of them trying to put bomb. All right, it say take bomb for her pain. All right, this is a form of that, of them trying to heal America. All right, by what? Raising the interest rates. All right, but you raising the interest rate, all right, is only going to dig you into a deeper pit. All right, because ultimately people, all right, America is ran on consumerism, consumerism, if that's a word. All right, America is ran by way of people borrowing. All right, credit. All right, now with them raising the interest rate, okay, what that's ultimately going to do? All right, that's going to have people not purchase. All right, not purchase big ticket items such as houses, cars. All right, so forth and so on. All right, why? Because ultimately they can't afford it. All right, they can't afford it already, but then you hike the interest rates up, and you're paying, for a house that you can't afford, but then you're paying more for that house. So, a person that has any sense of money managing, or knowing, how to manage their money. All right, they're going to say, "Hey, this is not affordable. This is not feasible." And ultimately, they can't afford it anyway because the dollar is at an all-time low. All right, your job is not paying you enough, or you have some people working 2-3 jobs, okay, and still can't make ends meet. So this is right here, all right, is going to, Esau digging themselves into a bigger ditch, if you will, a bigger grave, because that's where this place is going. All right.
Understand the hardship that high inflation is causing. We're strongly committed to bringing inflation back down, and we're moving expeditiously to do so.
Is this too much of a hammer from the feds?
I don't think so. I think it's a strong move by the Federal Reserve.
Matter of fact, which brings me to my next precept. Here we go. This is Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer? Hey, because what did he say? Is this too much of a hammer? Let's run it back. All right.
And we're moving expeditiously to do so.
Is this too much of a hammer from the feds?
I don't think so. I think.
All right. So what they doing right now is Esau wishing on a prayer, man. He's desperate. Jeremiah 50:23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh Shai. All right. The Lord have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Shai of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans. And this is America. All right. That snare that the Lord laid for you, all right, is hyperinflation. All right. What is that? Laden with thick clay. Okay. And ultimately, those nuclear missiles that's going to touch down there in America, man. Let's go.
It's a strong move by the Federal Reserve to attempt to regain control of the narrative. What it could turn out to be is that a little more action today portends a little less in the future.
A little less what? Pain?
A little less pain, a little less increase in interest rates in order to get the inflation job done.
In fact, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell suggested the government likely won't make a habit of being this aggressive with interest rate hikes in the future, but he didn't rule out another significant increase in the coming months. When it raised interest rates a half a point last month, the Fed expected that would bring inflation down, but it kept climbing to a 40-year high.
It was quite eye-catching, and we noticed that.
So when they raised the interest rates, thinking that it was going to somehow help them out, all right. Instead, it was the complete opposite. All right, and it's ultimately because America's finished, man. Esau is done. Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? All right, and that's Esau, man. Matter of fact, let me start at 7. Concerning Edom, thus saith the Lord of hosts, is wisdom no more in Teman? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? All right. So, hey, that's the Lord is being making mockery. All right, because it don't take a genius to know that if you raise, all right, the interest rate, if you raise the interest rates, all right, in a time where the people, all right, the dollar is weak, all right, the people can't even afford to buy groceries. If you raise the interest rate, you're pretty much cutting yourself out of the deal because nobody's going to buy. All right. Likewise, like when they did in Russia, when they dropped all them sanctions on Russia. All right, and what happened? Okay, them sanctions that they dropped on Russia, okay, end up, okay, indirectly, or should I say directly, hurting, all right, America. All right, why? Because there's no more wisdom. The Lord is slowly, all right, returning you devils back to your base. Turning you back to the basis of men. All right, it's like Cinderella at 12 when the clock struck 12. What happened? All right, her pumpkin turned back into her carriage turned back into a pumpkin. All right, the horses turned back into mice. All right, Cinderella went from her beautiful dress turned back to rags. All right, and she was turned back into the base Edomite that she was. All right, she lived. And what it say? The triumph of the wicked is but for a moment. Roughly paraphrasing. All right. No, it said the triumph of the wicked is short. And the matter of fact, let me just get it. All right, and that's ultimately you devils, man. All right, let me get it. Let me get it. This is Job 20:5. Let me see. I'm gonna start at 20:4. It says, "Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the joy of the hypocrite, but for a moment. All right, and guess what? Hey, your moment is up, Esau. Okay. All right, your moment is up. All right, your carriage, all right, is about to turn back into that pumpkin. All right, your servants, all right, your mice, all right, your horses are about to turn back into mice. Okay, and you're about to go back to your state of being the base man. All right, and that's the time that we're in. Let's go.
This rate hike will affect millions of American households and businesses, pushing up the cost of borrowing for major purchases.
For people who are first-time home buyers looking to get that mortgage right now, that's going to become much more difficult than it would have a few months ago. People who are in the market to purchase a car are going to have higher borrowing rates today than they did 3 months ago.
Also feeling.
So what do you think they're going to do? All right, they're just simply not going to purchase it. All right, they're going to choose not to get it. Why would you buy a car, all right, with high interest rates, and then turn around, got to pay $5 a gallon for gas? All right, that don't make any sense. Okay? Why would you buy a house right now, high interest rates, all right, and then turn around and the housing market bubble bursts, all right, and then you on the hook for a house that's not worth what you paid for it, all right? And I believe they call that an underwater mortgage. All right, you on the hook for a house that pretty much not worth what you bought it for now. All right. So America is fucked, man. Let's go.
The pinch, people who are looking to tap into their retirement accounts soon.
Their 401k balance is down by a lot. So they're going to have to maybe recalibrate on when they can retire.
The rate hike comes on top of crushing gas and food prices, which have frustrated consumers in recent months, even forcing some to change their behavior.
So here it is, they telling you can't retire. All right. Here it is, you work 30, 40 years at a job, and you coming up on retirement, and guess what? Your retirement fund is pretty much cleaned out. Why? Because they lost it during because they was investing your money in the stock market, and they lost. Hey, and this was going to all culminate and bring forth, all right, that Civil War, man. All right, all this is going to have a profound effect on the things that's to come. Okay.
We're confined. You know, we're just kind of being like kept prisoners in our own little spaces because we can't afford to do anything.
I am so not used to this. 8 gallons for $40. That's kind of crazy.
Even with this hardship, the Fed chairman says he hopes the government can raise interest rates without plunging the U.S. economy into a recession.
We don't seek to put people out of work. Of course, we never think too many people.
Look, newsflash. All right, we're already in a recession. All right, matter of fact, better yet, okay, we're in a Great Depression. All right, but you people, you sheeple, are too stupid to realize it. All right, we're already in a Great Depression right now. All right? But Esau not going to tell you that. Why? Because Esau is a liar. All right, by the time you realize that you're in a Great Depression, guess what? You people are going to be lined up at going into those FEMA camps. All right, that's when it's going to hit you. All right, and half of you people, all right, still probably don't realize it then, man. But that's all right, because guess what? Nevertheless, the Lord bringing the pain, man, and you going to feel it. Hey, what it say? 2/3 must know it after death by pain, man. Let's go.
We're working and fewer people need to have jobs. But we also think that you really cannot have the kind of labor market we want without price stability.
So what can the average consumer do to deal with this rate hike? Analyst David Wilcox says right now it's really important not to overextend yourself credit-wise. Try to pay off your credit cards if you can, and don't borrow money for one-time big splurges like vacations or furniture purchases. Wolf?
Brian Todd reporting for us. Thank you. Let's break all of this down with CNN business correspondent Rahel Solomon, Matt Egan, who's reporting live from the Federal Reserve, and our White House correspondent, MJ Lee. Matt, what more can you tell us, first of all, about how this rate hike will impact American consumers?
Well, Wolf, this was a break-the-glass emergency move by the Federal Reserve. Inflation is on fire, and it's spreading. And the firefighters, the Federal Reserve, they got to the scene pretty late here. Now the Fed is moving aggressively, the biggest interest rate hike since 1994, all in an effort to get inflation under control. Now, for families, this means higher borrowing costs, credit cards, mortgages, car loans, student debt, appliances. The COVID era of free money is over, big time. Now, hopefully, this means that prices will come back under control. That would be great news for families who are dealing with surging costs, and everything from cars and clothes to food and, of course, gasoline. But this won't be easy. The Fed has to get this just right, because if they don't act aggressively enough, inflation could stay hot or even get hotter. But if they do too much, they could accidentally cause a recession that costs millions of Americans their job. Wolf, the stakes here couldn't be much higher.
I know, it's such a delicate moment indeed. Rahel, I want to dig deeper right now with you. If you're walking, let's say, into a car dealership or applying for a mortgage, what can you expect?
Yeah, I mean, Wolf, when the Fed raises rates, it impacts the cost of borrowing both directly and indirectly. So as we have heard, the rates are going up. And so your cost of borrowing is going up. Let's talk about mortgages, for example. We've already seen a pretty dramatic spike in mortgage rates this year alone. One economist from Zillow putting it to me this way. About a year ago, the average home, Wolf, was about $290,000. So you put 5% down with a 3% rate. Well, your mortgage was about $1,600. Right now, typical home goes for about $350,000, put 5% down, but your rate is 6.1%, and your mortgage is now about $2,650, just a dramatic drop, or a dramatic increase, rather, in mortgage rates and mortgage costs. So the idea here being is that if you're in the market for a home, you may just rethink buying a home. You may think you want to wait it out for a few years, which is exactly the point. The Fed is trying to cool demand. It's trying to get us to spend less on these big purchases to hopefully reduce inflation in the longer term, but it doesn't make you feel good if you're a consumer and right now you need to buy or you'd like to buy.
A good point. MJ, President Biden made an appeal today to the big oil companies over these sky-high gas prices. What is he asking for, and is it likely to make a real difference?
Yeah, this is just one more sign, Wolf, that the president is trying to pull out all the stops to try to lower gas prices for American consumers. He wrote this letter to major oil refineries and basically raised 2 points. He said, one, he would like to see these companies really ramp up production. And two, he said he wants to send the message that the fact that they are really profiting so much from this moment is really not acceptable. On the ramping up front, he said, look, he knows that particularly during the pandemic, a lot of these companies had to shut down their refineries and really reduce their capacity. So he would like these companies to do everything that they can to bring some of these refineries back online. And then on the second point on these companies' high profits, he said, look, at a moment when the American consumer is paying so much and going through so much to even just fill up their gas tanks, that it's really just not acceptable for these companies to enjoy these profits. Now, what the president said in this letter is that he is going to call on his energy secretary to convene an emergency meeting. The White House has also said that he might, use some other emergency actions to try to get prices down, maybe the Defense Production Act, but we don't have the details. Look, the White House has interestingly said that it is a patriotic duty for these oil companies to try to take these actions, though if you're being cynical, they are oil companies, so not sure that a letter from the president is going to change the conduct of these companies in any real way.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
So you see right there, at the end of the day, they want the world to play the violin for America, but these oil companies saying, fuck that. Hey, we have to make money. All right, we are a business, okay? Let me get the next video I got queued up right here. Salakia. Salakia.
With Americans are. All right, now we turn, sorry, don't blame the messenger, to the not-so-good news. All right, earlier today, the massive 0.75 of a point rate hike from the Fed. Now, this is the third increase from the Fed since Joe Biden took office. Goldman Sachs, for example, predicts in the next 2 years as many as 11, maybe more. Anyway, 3 so far, many more expected. And as inflation is draining the savings and retirement funds, you're all watching it. You're all seeing it. Donald Trump predicted it. It's hurting Americans all across the country.
Hey, these people are about to fucking lose it, yo. They're about to lose it. They're about to go bonkers. All right, it's about to get nuclear. Hey, yo. Can you imagine? Hey, you work, like I said, 30 plus years, man, a job, and they tell you that your retirement fund, all right, is pretty much depleted, all right, because of the economy, and that you can't retire, and that you have to work basically now until you're a dead man. Hey, these people about to lose it, man. All right, all hell's about to break loose, man. Hey, I can't see this thing going on for another month. If they don't, do something to pacify these people, hey, these people are going to fucking lose it, man. All right, let's go.
Especially the poor, the middle class, people on fixed incomes. 2/3 draining the savings and retirement funds. You're all watching it. You're all seeing it. Donald Trump predicted it. It's hurting Americans all across the country, especially the poor, the middle class, people on fixed incomes. 2/3.
Hey, and that's you Jakes, man. The poor, the people with fixed incomes, that's you tribes, man. All right, that's why it's called Jacob's Trouble. All right, because guess what? What's coming down the pipeline is going to affect you tribes more than anybody. All right, but you niggas walking around with your head up your ass. All right, here we go. Oh, what'd he say? Let's get it.
Of Americans and savings and retirement funds. You're all watching it. You're all seeing it. Donald Trump predicted it. It's hurting Americans all across the country, especially the poor, the middle class, people on fixed incomes. 2/3 of Americans are now living paycheck to paycheck.
And he said 2/3. All right, so that's the spirit. All right, because that's what's coming. All right, judgment, sorrow, hardship, anguish, pain, death, destruction is coming for 2/3 of you niggas, man. All right, and the elect is going to be good through all this, man. Let's go.
Sadly, rate hikes are not good for example, property values, to put it mildly. Let's break down what this rate hike means, for example. Now, under Donald Trump, in 2020, many Americans, they were getting mortgages with interest rates around 3%, some even lower in the 2s. I'm talking about a 30-year fixed rate. Now, if you bought a $400,000 home, let's say you put 20% down, your monthly payment on a 30-year loan would be $1,993 a month. At the end of 30 years, the total mortgage paid with interest, you bought a $400,000 house, it would be $485,600. Now, you go a 0.5 point or 0.5% increase in interest rates, your payment goes up by $100. And the total payment paid over 30 years goes up by $32,000. Another 0.5 point, you're looking at a $200 increase every month and a $64,000 hike altogether. That's at 4% interest. Now, prior to today, a 30-year fixed mortgage was averaging, 6.3 some odd percent. At that rate, your monthly payment is $500 more than it would have been in 2020, and the total amount that you would pay over the course of your loan would be $203 $1,000. Wow. Now, today it gets a lot worse. Rates now expected to go as high as 7.5%. Let's take a look at buying that same home. That means if you compare the rates in 2020 under Donald Trump, well, you'll pay $1,000 more per month, and after today's hike and interest rates going up, you'll spend a whopping $320,000 more dollars over the 30-year course of your loan. After today, the same price you would have only paid for, what, a year and a half ago? I mean, it's unbelievable. It's staggering. Now, at these rates, that means purchasing a home now is going to become unaffordable for many Americans, if not most Americans. That means sales of existing homes, that's going to plummet. You know, the day and age, you put a house on the market, 15 people come in, people are bidding above asking price. Those days are now going to end, except for maybe states where people are moving to, like Florida, Texas, Tennessee, and the Carolinas. But for most states, your home values will plummet. New home construction will come to a screeching halt. That's going to kill contractors. Fewer and fewer Americans will refinance their homes. And guess what? Your property values that you've been looking, it's been rising the last number of years. That, like your stock market and your 401k, that will plummet. In fact, they are already going down as we speak. This will not only impact the housing market, but also America's financial institutions. We're headed straight for a recession, even as inflation continues to climb. Now, this week, we also learned that the producer price index, this measures wholesale prices that businesses pay, and then you pay more on top of it. It's up a whopping 10.8%. If you watch this program, you know the driver of these costs is record high gas prices and diesel prices. Joe Biden could work to bring those prices down right now. And don't take my word for it. Let's listen to Kevin O'Leary, CNBC. Take a look.
The economy, the market, it's not going to be able to recover unless we see some relief, and relief that we can believe is a long-term solution for oil.
Here's how you fix that problem. It was a policy mistake by Biden when he came in. You reverse the mistake. All you have to do is jawbone. The oil market's a futures market. Just announced you're going to license 3 new refineries on the East Coast. Also announced we're going to re-examine the XL pipeline. We're going to give back the leases in Anwar. We're going to give more carbon direction to understand what the costs are. All of those policy mistakes could be reversed by just getting up and jawboning it. You could take oil down below $100 if you got more accommodative towards the future production. Yeah. Now, Biden may not do that. That's on him.
Bingo, but Biden's not going to do any of that because the radical climate religious cult that runs the administration won't let him. Democrats, New Green Deal Party Democrats, socialists, they won't let him. Instead, Biden sent a very mean, threatening letter to oil companies demanding they stop taking a profit because it's a patriotic thing to do. Joe, they have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, Joe, but keep this in mind anyway. Despite the administration and they're demonizing and blaming anybody and everybody but themselves, well, and they're going after the oil giants, let's look at companies like ExxonMobil. Their profits are flat over the last quarter. And in 2020, guess what, Joe? Many of these companies lost money. They made no profit at all. But you're not going to hear that from the administration because they're just looking to scapegoat. They'll blame Putin. They'll blame Trump. They'll blame oil companies. They'll blame meat companies. They'll blame poultry companies. So let's be very clear. Joe Biden caused this problem. He caused it because of his election promises. He told you and promised every American this is what he was going to do. I will remind you again so you never forget it. And you can tell all your friends. Take a look.
If we don't stop using fossil fuels, we're all dead. Doing away with any subsidies for fossil fuels, number one. Number two, holding them liable for what they have done, particularly in those cases where you're underserved neighborhoods and you know the deal, okay? And by the way, when they don't or when they're deliberate, we'll put them in jail. Kiddo, I want you to just take a look, okay? You don't have to agree, but I want you to look at my eyes. I guarantee you, we're going to end fossil fuel, and I am not going to cooperate with it, okay?
Would there be any place for fossil fuels, including coal and fracking, in a Biden administration?
No, we would work it out. We would make sure it's eliminated.
Of course, his promises didn't stop there. Biden also vowed to treat Saudi Arabia like a pariah country, directly accusing the Crown Prince of being responsible for the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. And now, lo and behold, Joe Biden's headed over to Saudi Arabia to meet with the Crown Prince, where our president, I bet pretty much every penny I had, he's going to grovel on his hands and knees and beg the Crown Prince to pump more oil, all because the religious climate alarmist cult in the Democratic Party won't let him produce oil, gas domestically. It's that simple. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to...
So there you go. And this place is, America is a laughing stock, man. All right, because, I remember that with the Crown Prince. Hey, and now he's going over there. All right, he's begging this guy, all right, for oil. Hey, and he probably have Trump, suck a camel penis or something like that, or do some crazy shit to get him to do what he wanted him to do. He probably, have him do some outrageous shit. Like he said, get on his hands and knees, all right, and eat fucking cow shit or something. Hey, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. All right, why? Because America is finished, man. It says, this is Jeremiah 30 and 12. For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. Exactly. All right, nobody is coming to America's rescue. All right, ultimately, why? Because your Heavenly Father, all right, is bringing this place down, man. All right, nobody's coming to America aid. Why? Ultimately, because these countries want to see America fall. They want to see America burn, man. All right. It says, there is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicines. All thy lovers have forgotten thee. Yeah, all your allies, all right, are pretty much laughing at your ass. They seek thee not for. It says, all thy lovers have forgotten thee. They seek thee not. They seek thee not. Yeah, ain't nobody checking for America. For I have wounded thee with a wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. All right. Okay. It say, why criest thou for thy affliction? Yeah, why are you complaining? Thy sorrow is incurable for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Yeah, you devils lived it up, man, in wickedness. All right, and now it's time to pay the piper, man. I have done these things unto thee. All right. And this is judgment. Here we go. I'm gonna read 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured. All right, didn't you devour the children of Israel? And all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey. All right, and that's what we're saying right now. All right, we're saying the Lord, okay, take that hedge of protection that he had on Esau, all right, since the days when he was Cain. All right, because ultimately the Lord had a hedge of protection around this devil. But now, all right, that hedge of protection, all right, is being removed. All right, and along with the hedge of protection being removed, all right, this devil is being he's being outed, all right, as the devil that the devil that the Bible speaks of. All right, he's being uncovered as Esau, all right, the man of perdition, the man of sin, all right, the wicked. Okay, the Lord is taking his wisdom, his counsel, all right, and making him a laughing stock, man. All right, and it's beautiful. Let me get this. All right. This Ecclesiasticus 25:7. There be 9 things which I have judged in my heart to be happy, and the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. All right, and the water Yahbashim Yahbashah, all right, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Hopefully you brothers and you few sisters, all right, are edified. And double honors to the elders at Great Millstone. Peace citation to the Akim that's pushing his word throughout the 4 corners of the planet. And shalom to the elect. Let's go.